So this will be a long episode tonight since we are previewing the NCAA tournament. Of course, recapping conference tournaments over the weekend. So let's kick off with the recap of the A10 tournament first. It was the 50th anniversary of the A10. Like the conference being born. Now, of course, 50 years later, it's the 50th anniversary of the A10 tournament. So it was a special tournament for sure, being played in Pittsburgh where the first A10 tournament was played. So yeah, it kicked off my St. Bonaventure Bonnies taking on LaSalle. The very first game for this year's tournament. Bonnies had no problem in this one. Dominated LaSalle, 99-80 in that one. And to wrap up day one was Loyola Chicago upsetting Richmond. So yeah, that was a shocker there for the first day of the A10 tournament. So then day two, GW pretty much outplayed Fordham for most part. Honestly, but yeah. But Fordham made it interesting, but George Washington pretty much won by only 4 points. They were up as much as 20, and Fordham made it close at 1 point, 1 possession game, but GW hangs on, even though they got outplayed in that second half. But yeah, they hanged on to beat Fordham in that game. The Bonnies pulled off an upset win over George Mason, which I was happy to get revenge from George Mason because it happened back late in January, back in the Raleigh Center, so I'm happy about that. Third game of that A10 tournament, second round. Duquesne had no problem with Rhode Island, especially because it was in their city. It was in Pittsburgh, yeah. So Duquesne beat Rhode Island. And to cap it off, we had a thriller between Loyola Chicago and Davidson of day two. So yeah, Davidson beat Loyola Chicago in overtime. Now the quarterfinal Friday we had last week. It kicked off with GW and St. Louis. St. Louis survived a scare, from GW. Because GW was outplaying in that first half, majority of that second half, but the second half dominated by St. Louis. But oh my goodness, what a comeback for the Billikens to hang on and beat George Washington. So that was the end of their season. And sadly, this past weekend was the end of the Mark Schmidt era at St. Bonaventure. So Dayton played spoiler on that one, ending St. Bonaventure's Cinderella story in the A10 tournament. So yeah, it sucks. The season came to an end the Schmidt era, but hey, we had a good run. Even though, yeah, Woj pretty much forced him out the door, but still, hey, Schmidt, the Bonnies, they played hard for him, I will say. If we would have gotten past Dayton, I feel like we could have won this A10 tournament, I'll be honest. But still, thank you, Mark Schmidt, for 20 great years of being the St. Bonaventure head coach, We were a joke, and now, of course, had so much relevancy for so long. So, thanks for turning this program around. Thanks for the memories. Especially beating Syracuse back in 2017. All right. Then you had Duquesne and VCU. VCU beating Duquesne, even though they were what do you call it? They were a disadvantage, especially because it was in Duquesne, it was in Pittsburgh. Duquesne, was kind of had home court advantage, but VCU fans traveled well. So yeah, VCU winning in a 5-point game over Duquesne to advance the semis. Then St. Joe's capping off night 3 of the A10 tournament by beating Davidson 70-58. Then you had the semifinals on Saturday. We had a really good first semifinal matchup between St. Louis and Dayton. Dayton with the upset, beating St. Louis. Just a sequence with 30 seconds left in that one. Out in that second half, that was a crazy sequence. With Dayton ended up hitting a buzzer beater to beat St. Louis. What a thriller between this one. Dayton went on to the A10 title game. VCU had no problem with St. Joe's. Dominated them to get to the championship game. And, of course, the A10 title game this past Sunday, just 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, VCU once again repeating as A10 tournament champs. I really thought St. Louis was going to win the A10 tournament, or even the Bonnies at times, but still, it was VCU once again. They beat Dayton 70-62 to win the 50th anniversary of the A10 tournament. That's winning the golden trophy, so that's a special trophy to win especially for VCU. So yeah, congrats on winning the A10 tournament. Let's recap the AC tournament before we make our picks for March Madness this weekend. First day was over a week ago. It was Pitt and Stanford. Good way to kick off the AC tournament there. Pitt upsetting Stanford 64-63, which means Stanford pretty much missed the NCAA tournament. Oh, my favorite game of the opening day was SMU eliminating Syracuse. Oh, yeah, I enjoyed that one. Seeing Syracuse get eliminated. That was the highlight of day one of the ACC tournament for me, for sure. Then we had a thriller between Virginia Tech and Wake Forest in overtime. Yeah, Wake Forest spoiling Virginia Tech's hopes of that large bid. So, yeah. And that happened. Of course, day two of the ACC tournament. NC State beating Pitt 98-88 in the second round. That was the second round of the tournament for the ACC tournament. Then you had a thriller between SMU and Louisville. Louisville winning by only 4 points. They advanced. What did we get next? Oh yeah, Florida State beating Cal 95-89 to advance to face Duke. Then to cap off night two of the ACC tournament, Clemson beating Wake Forest. Then the quarterfinal Thursday last week. It kicked off with Virginia beating NC State. Then you had Miami getting revenge on Louisville to advance to the semifinals. Then Duke surviving a scare from Florida State, winning by a point. That was a great game to watch. Then Clemson barely hangs on to beat UNC. I mean, they were dominating most of that game, Clemson. Then Carolina made it interesting there at the end, but yeah, Clemson survives. Then the semifinals, you had Virginia dominating Miami to get to the ACC title game, and then Duke taking care of business, winning a solid win over Clemson to get to the title game. And the ACC title game was Duke and Virginia. Duke beating Virginia to win their second straight ACC title. My Duke Blue Devils winning the ACC tournament once again. And securing the #1 overall seed. That was your recap of the conference tournaments. Now, let's get into our March Madness picks. The teams that got in. You had Howard and UMBC. Of course, Howard getting in by winning the MEAC, and UMBC winning their conference tournament by winning the America East. Of course, that game happened last night. Howard won their play-in game over UMBC to go to Buffalo to take on Michigan. Texas was one of the last four in, representing the SEC, and then NC State won the last four in, representing the ACC. They both deserved to be in there, I think, kind of, but especially NC State. But well, it was a good game. They lived up to it last night. A really good game, despite everyone saying that they should not have been in. But yeah, Auburn missed the tournament, but I think the biggest snub was Seton Hall was one of them. Seton Hall got snubbed from the tournament, no doubt. They got robbed San Diego State, but still, definitely Seton Hall I think is the biggest snub. Auburn, obviously, were in the bubble, but they didn't deserve to make the tournament, So the committee made the right move on that one. There are so many other moves that could have happened, but yeah, Seton Hall, I think that's the one I can't get. That's the one of the biggest snubs of the tournament for sure. So yeah, so Texas beat NC State last night. They advanced to face BYU on Thursday. And of course, tonight's play-in games. The one I got on right now is Lehigh versus Prairie View A&M. Prairie View winning the SWAC, winning their conference tournament, which is a SWAC, and then Lehigh winning the Patriot League. And pretty much Prairie View is looking like they're going to win their first ever NCAA tournament game and going to advance and take on the defending national champion Florida Gators. And the game later on tonight, I can make a pick on this one, though. Miami, Ohio, and SMU, another two teams that are also part of the last two teams in. I mean, Miami, Ohio, well-deserved. They went 31-0 in the regular season, but their only loss came in their conference tournament in their first game of it. We all thought, oh, God, the committee's going to leave them out, but thank God they didn't. They did the right thing by putting Miami, Ohio in. And SMU, good move by the committee to put them because they beat Syracuse. I'm happy. I mean, anyone that ended Syracuse season made me happy about it, so I'm happy with this move. But I'm going to take Miami, Ohio. Well, I think they'll at least win this one tonight because it's at Dayton, Ohio. It's in their state, so they got home court advantage kind of in this one. So I got the Red Hawks beating SMU and going on to face Tennessee on Friday. Now let's talk about Thursday's games. These are some of my picks in my bracket. I mean, some I might not talk about because, who knows from eliminations. But yeah, hopefully my bracket does well this year because, I came close at times. But yeah, first game of the round of 64. It is at 12:15 on CBS. It is TCU and Ohio State. This game we played in Greenville, South Carolina. Who do I got in this one in my bracket? I'm going to take the Ohio State Buckeyes this one. They've had some good wins. TCU's a good team too, but I could see Ohio State win this one. So, I mean, they've had some big ones like over Purdue, for example. They've had some other ones too, but yeah, TCU, I mean, they've had some upsets too. This is a good matchup. 8-9 seeds is always a coin toss when it comes to picking brackets, or March Madness. So, yeah, I got Ohio State winning this one. Next, 12:40 on True TV. Troy versus Nebraska. Nebraska has yet to win an NCAA tournament game in school history. They have yet to win one. So I think they're going to make history. I think Nebraska will finally get their first ever NCAA tournament win. So I got Nebraska beating Troy. I think they're overdue to finally win an NCAA tournament game. So I got them in my bracket. Next, 1:30 on TNT. It is South Florida, the 11 seed versus the number 6 seed out of the ACC, Louisville. This game I will be at because I am finally going to March Madness games. I'll be attending the NCAA tournament this weekend in Buffalo because it's right near it's 90 minutes away from home. So yeah, I'm gonna go make a nice trip to Buffalo for the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. Watch the games. So yeah, I'll be at that game. So I got an upset in this one. I'm going South Florida in this one over Louisville. So give me the South Florida Bulls in this one. So I can't wait to be there to see that game tomorrow. 1:50 on TBS is number 12 seeded High Point versus number 5 seeded Wisconsin. This should be an interesting match because High Point's got 30 wins on the year. Wisconsin's had a great season. They've had some big wins like over Michigan. I think they beat MSU. I think they've beaten some really good teams. Illinois too. I mean, they've had some huge wins. But I'm gonna go upset in this one. I'm going High Point. I feel like they could pull off this upset. I feel like. I got High Point. All right, this game just gone final. Prairie View beat Lehigh, and they're playing games, so they'll be facing the Gators on Friday. All right, back to our picks. Now the 2:50 on CBS. My Duke Blue Devils take on the Siena Saints. Who am I going to take in this one? I'm going to go with Duke, obviously, because they're going to have no problem in this game. Siena's a good 16 seed, don't get me wrong, but I think Duke, they're playing against probably one of the best teams in college basketball in Duke. So, yeah, Dukes have no problem in this game. Next, 3:15 on True TV. It is McNeese versus Vanderbilt. McNeese State. I mean, this would be a great game. Watch how good McNeese is. And, of course, Vanderbilt's had a special season, too. They started undefeated at the beginning of the year, Ooh. What? I was thinking taking Vanderbilt, but I'm going to go McNeese. I think they'll pull off an upset here. I mean, usually I'd never pick as much upsets, but I'm just because some of these teams I've seen have some experience. Some teams I really think could be good, making some runs. So yeah, I got McNeese in this one. Next, the second game in Buffalo I will be seeing in person. Michigan State and North Dakota State. How about a blue blood school like Michigan State? I mean, Louisville's too, but still, Michigan State's gonna be the popular one. I mean, and Michigan, the two popular schools that are gonna be here. So yeah, against North Dakota State Bison. Should be a good matchup, but I'm going to go Michigan State in this one. Spartans are going to take care of business in this first game. So I got Sparty winning this one, getting past North Dakota State in this one, so I got them. That'll be 4 o'clock on TNT. 4:25 on TBS. Hawaii and Arkansas. Arkansas has come off the momentum after winning the SEC tournament, so I'm going to go with the Razorbacks in this one. So I got Arkansas on this one. Now the evening slate of games for Thursday. You got Carolina and VCU, 6:50 on TNT. Carolina, obviously, without Caleb Wilson the rest of the season, so I'm going to go upset. I'm going VCU, representing the A-10 and knocking off the Tar Heels. VCU is a good team. They are explosive. And Carolina's good too, but I just think they're overrated this year. So I got the VCU Rams win this upset one over Carolina. 7:10 on CBS. This is also in Buffalo. I'll probably seen some of this, but this is not going to be much of a contest. Michigan against Howard. So obviously I'm gonna go big. I'm going with Michigan. Go with Big Blue in this one. So yeah, I gotta go Michigan over Howard. So yeah, it's gonna be an easy win for Michigan, no doubt in this one. At the KeyBank Center in Buffalo. Yeah, they got no problem. Well, no problem in this one. 7:25 on TBS. Texas and BYU. Of course, Texas won last night in Dayton over NC State. But I'll still stick with BYU. I just feel like they'll at least win this one, but they not gonna go far. So I got BYU in this one. 7:30 on True TV. Texas A&M and St. Mary's. Usually I go SEC and A&M, but I'm going with St. Mary's. They're a good team. I think they'll at least win this one. I got the St. Mary's Gales in this one. 9:25 on TNT. This is the late night slate. Illinois and Pennsylvania. Illinois is going to have no problem with this one. That's an easy win for Illinois over the Penn Quakers. You know Pennsylvania had a great Ivy League championship game over Yale, so they found a way to win that one. That was a great game. The final game of the first night of Buffalo for me, Illinois and Georgia and St. Louis, 8-9 seed matchup. That's going to be a good game, especially because I saw St. Louis in person in the Raleigh Center when they played the Bonnies this year, so I've already seen them once. This will be the second time I'll see them in person this year. Georgia is a good team, too, coming up from a tough conference like the SEC. But I'm going to go St. Louis. They're just such a deep team. I think they can make some noise this year. I think they could go on a run, so I got the Billikens this one. 10 o'clock on TS, Gonzaga and Kennesaw State. The Zags have no problem this one. Gonzaga will dominate this game, so I got the Zags. And to finish off 10-10 on True TV, Houston and Idaho. This is a no-brainer for bracket-wise. Pick Houston. They'll beat Idaho, no problem. Happy for Idaho to make the tournament for the first time in 36 years, but they're gonna run into a buzzsaw named the Houston Cougars and Calvin Sampson. Yeah, that'll be the first day. Of course, obviously I'll see more games on Saturday, but yeah, Friday's slated for round of 64. Kentucky and Santa Clara should be a great game. Santa Clara, well deserved this year to make the tournament. Special season they had. They play Gonzaga down to the wire. Of course, Kentucky's been up and down all year, so that's a tough one to pick. But I'm gonna go Santa Clara. Kentucky's known to choke at times, so I'm gonna go with Santa Clara to beat Kentucky. So yeah, I got them winners. That'll be 12:15 on CBS Friday, 12:40 on True TV. This should be a dangerous matchup, but yeah, Akron, number 12 seed against 5 seed Texas Tech. Yeah, 5 and 12 is a common upset, but no, I think Texas Tech will win this one. I got the Red Raiders in this one. They're having a great year despite missing JT Toppin. 1:35 on TNT. It is number 1 seed Arizona, the second number 1 overall seed, taking on Long Island. Of course, these used to be the LIU Blackbirds. Now they're the Long LIU Sharks. And Arizona's been so dominant all year. So Arizona's going to dominate this one. I got Arizona winning big. My bracket, yeah. Wright State and Virginia. Who do I take in this one? I got to go with UVA in this one. They'll win this one, no problem. 2:50 on CBS. Tennessee State and Iowa State. I'm going to go with the Cyclones this one. I got Iowa State winning this one. Happy for Nolan Smith because he's a former Duke Blue Devil player who's teammates with John Shire. So I'm going to go Iowa State still, but I mean, happy for him to make the tournament. This Iowa State's for real. They're for real. So I got to go with the Cyclones this one. 3:15 on True TV. Hofstra and Alabama. Of course, Alabama losing their best player. He gets arrested. He's off the team. He's not going to be playing. So before that happened, I still taking Hofstra as my upset pick. I got Hofstra. I think they're gonna at least win the game here. So yeah, I got the Hofstra Pride win this one, upsetting the Alabama Crimson Tide. 4:10 on TNT. Villanova and Utah State. This should be an interesting matchup, but I'm gonna go with Nova on this one. I'm gonna go Villanova on this one. Utah State's good, but it's like Villanova. I think they'll at least win this one. 4:25 on TBS. Tennessee will either face SMU or Miami, Ohio. I did pick Miami, Ohio to win the game tonight, but I think Tennessee will win this one over whoever they play. So I get the Vols win this one. 6:50 on TNT. Iowa and Clemson. Just a toss-up game. They're both good teams, but I'm going to go Clemson this one. 7:10 on CBS. St. John's and Northern Iowa. I'm going to go St. John's in this one. UCF and UCLA. This is such a coin toss kind of game. This could be a good matchup, but I'm going UCF this one. Usually I pick UCLA, but this UCF team's pretty good. Led by a former Duke player, Johnny Dawkins, who's had a great season. Of course, especially beating BYU, but they've had some good wins. This is a good UCF team. Next, Queens versus Purdue. Who do I like in this one? Easily Purdue. They'll dominate Queens. Happy they made their first NCAA tournament for Queens, but Purdue's a good team. They're just one of the hottest teams in college basketball right now. Florida playing against Prairie View A&M, who just won moments ago, so I'm going to take the Gators in this one. Easily. 9:45 on CBS to wrap up, like the CBS slate for Friday. Kansas and Cal Baptist. Cal Baptist, their first ever NCAA tournament appearance. But I'm going to go with the Jayhawks. They'll win this one. 10 o'clock on TBS. It is 2-seeded UConn taking on the 15-seeded Furman. So UConn's going to have no problem in this one. They'll take care of business against Furman. So, yeah, I got the UConn Huskies. 10-10 on True TV. Miami and Missouri. I'm going to go with the Hurricanes this one. Miami Hurricanes. Ja Lucas, former Duke Blue Devil as well. part of the coaching staff says I gotta go Miami in this one. The round of 32 picks. Let's talk about the Thursday games who I picked. My bracket. I got Duke and Ohio State for the second round. That's what I picked. I got Duke going to Sweet 16. I got them winning that game. Next, Nebraska and McNeese. I'm going to go Nebraska to go to the Sweet 16. Now the second day of the Buffalo games for me, like we'll see if I pick like South Florida and Michigan State. I got Michigan State going to Sweet 16. After that, I got Wisconsin and Arkansas. I'm going Arkansas to make the Sweet 16. VCU. Yeah, VCU and Illinois. I'm going Illinois to make the Sweet 16. Michigan and St. Louis, the last Buffalo game possibly, depending on how the schedule goes. But yeah, Michigan and St. Louis. I'm going upset in the second round. I'm going St. Louis to beat Michigan. Everyone thinks I'm crazy picking against Michigan, but for some reason, I could see the St. Louis team going on a run. I really could see them knocking off Michigan in the second round. I don't know why. I mean, you just don't know these second round games. That's why I like my upset in that one for the Buffalo. Those are my Buffalo picks because I'll be seeing those games this weekend. Texas. Let's see, BYU and Gonzaga. I'm going to go Gonzaga to make the Sweet 16 in that one. Houston, St. Mary's. Oh, Houston easy will go to the Sweet 16. So those are my Sweet 16 predictions there. We'll see if my bracket goes right for that one. Friday's matchups, who do I got in those ones? Iowa State and Santa Clara. I got Iowa State going to Sweet 16. Texas Tech and Hofstra. I'm going Texas Tech to get to the Sweet 16. Arizona and Villanova. I'm going Arizona to make the Sweet 16. Virginia and Tennessee. I'm going UVA, surprisingly, to make the Sweet 16. You gotta go Tennessee to go far, but Virginia's good. They're a good squad. Clemson and Florida. I'm going upset in this one. I think Clemson's going to go to the Sweet 16 as an upset over the Gators. I'm going Clemson. They've made some runs in the past. St. John's or Kansas. Who do I like in this one to face Duke in the Sweet 16? I'm going St. John's. I want to see Rick Pitino versus Duke. St. John's, that's what I like in that one. UCF and UConn. Oh, definitely UConn to the Sweet 16. Purdue and Miami. Oh, I'll go Purdue to make the Sweet 16. So those are my picks for the round of 32. And, of course, my predictions for the round of 64. I can't wait to be in Buffalo tomorrow to watch the games. And also the games Friday, of course, I'll watch my Duke Blue Devils. Hopefully I get most of my games right in the bracket, especially the Buffalo ones. So I will see you all next week for a Sweet 16 Elite 8 preview. We'll see you all next week. We recap all these games. Enjoy the March Madness this weekend.